So these are the learning outcomes from this chapter 1, Introduction to Research. So you will understand the meaning of research, and you will know the characteristics of good research, and then you will be able to identify the research problem, and you will also learn different types of research approaches. You will know different types of research studies, and then finally you will understand the various stages of research process. So we will also discuss the research process in this chapter. Okay. This is about the meaning of research. Research basically refers to the search of knowledge. Okay, so knowledge exists. Okay, and then we try to find out with our efforts that knowledge. Okay, so we basically find out new ideas. We try to develop new theories. Okay, or we try to verify existing theories. So research is a process through which we attempt to answer to a question. That's why we say there is a research question. Okay, if you are doing your research, then people will ask you, what is your research question? Okay, basically, first of all, you will think about your research question, and then you will try to find out the answer to your research question, and then you will also understand a phenomena with the support of some fact systematically. So in a research, we try to do our work systematically. So research is an academic activity that is conducted for an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge. So whenever you complete your research study, then normally it is asked, what is your contribution to the existing store of knowledge? We have knowledge, and then what you have contributed through your research to the existing store of knowledge. So what we try to do in research, we move one step forward. Okay, knowledge exists, and then we will move one step forward. We will contribute to the existing store of knowledge. Then these are the objectives of research. In research, we basically try to find out the hidden truth. Truth exists, but that is hidden. And through research, we try to find out that truth, and then we try to achieve new insight into the area of study and extend knowledge. So knowledge exists, and then we try to extend our knowledge on the subject. Sometimes we know less about that area or that subject, and then through research we try to extend our knowledge, and we also try to properly understand the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or group. We sometimes we do research for a personality, like Qaid-e-Azam. We know about Qaid-e-Azam, but maybe we know very little. Then people did their research to know about that personality. Okay, and there are many personalities on which research has been done. Okay, so we also do research for a particular situation, and we also do research on a particular group. Okay, a group of people. Like see, we did research on the people on Mohenjo-daro, no? How was their living style, and how, so there is a research on these people. And also there are research on different communities, okay, different ethnic groups, political group, and religious groups. There are different research on different groups we also try to understand different situations. And then in research, we formulate and test different hypotheses and come up with a finding. Okay. So hypothesis is basically a claim. No? So we make a claim and then we test that claim and come up with some finding. No? Okay. If I claim that the average weight of university student is 45 kg. So this is my hypothesis, this is my claim, and then we test this hypothesis. We get the sample weight of a student and then we test this hypothesis. So on the basis of the test of hypothesis, we can reject or accept that, or we can claim that this is the average height of the student of a particular city, or this is the average marks of the student of particular college. And then we try to get the answer for that claim, whether it can be accepted or can be rejected. And we also verify and test existing theory. So in research, we create theory through research process. We create some theory, and we also, verify and test existing theory. And the purpose is to improve our knowledge on it. Okay, so theory exists. For example, we say that there is a theory that consumption is a function of disposable income. Okay, so then first we can test this theory. We will get data on consumption, we will get data on income, and then we can see whether consumption is a function of income or what is the relationship. The theory says that there exists a positive relationship between consumption and disposable income. So we can test this relationship. Okay. Then the theory says if disposable income increases, consumption will also increase by less than that proportion. No? So again, there you see we have marginal propensity to consume. So again, we can test this theory, and then we can also improve that theory. So someone may say that consumption is a function of disposable income. Okay, it's correct. It is tested. This relationship exists, but consumption is also a function of wealth. So what you did, you test the theory, but you also improved the theory. You modified the theory. You extended the theory. Then someone else will come and that researcher will do research, and then that researcher will say, okay, consumption is a function of disposable income, consumption is a function of wealth, but consumption is also a function of interest rate. So again, what we did, we extend our knowledge on that theory. No? So this is the research that we do. So if you see, whenever we do research, we review the literature. No? We see what previous researcher did and what were their finding, and then we try to extend the existing knowledge. So we develop new methods for a better understanding of phenomena. So in research, the researcher, they use different methods, but we may develop a new method to understand the same relationship or same theory. Just like I said, consumption is a function of disposable income. Someone, tested this relationship using time series data. So another researcher will come, and that researcher may test this relationship using cross-sectional data. Then another researcher may come and he will test this relationship using panel data. Then also they use different methods. For example, one researcher is using uh, simple regression analysis. Someone is testing the co-integration. Someone is testing the error using error correction model. Someone is testing the causality. So there are different methods that are used in research to extend our knowledge. And this will also help in planning and contribute to the business, social, and national development. So research will help in planning. Suppose once I, uh, saw that the group of, businessmen, they were trying to know uh, how much is the demand for their product. Okay. So then researcher can identify this demand. Once I did a research on for the Shell Pakistan. They wanted to know the furnace oil and high speed diesel. They wanted to know the demand for furnace oil and high speed diesel from 2010 to 2020. And that was 2009. They wanted to know what would be the demand for high speed diesel and furnace oil between 2010 to 2020. So next 10-year projection they wanted. So then you can do your research on the basis of previous data, and then you can do forecasting. There was also a research. They wanted to know, they wanted to open a hotel. Okay. They wanted to know what would be the demand for different food item for the breakfast, for the lunch, and for dinner. If you are going to open a hotel or a restaurant or a food shop, then you should know what people eat in the morning, what they prefer in the dinner, what they prefer in the lunch. So we have to do research. So whatever they demand in the breakfast, they may not demand in the lunch, and then they may not demand in the dinner. So what we will do, we will see, we will get the data, maybe we will do some survey, and we will ask people for their preference, what they prefer in the breakfast, whether they prefer tea, whether they prefer coffee, whether they, what they prefer for egg, or what type of omelette, or what type of omelette. Then again, um, different types of bread, what type of bread they prefer, and then also in the lunch, what they prefer. So we can do a survey, and on the basis of that survey we can come up with our finding, and then we help the businesses. Same is with the medical store. If you want to open a medical store in a particular locality, you want to know what type of medicines are normally demanded, and what type that is related to the disease in that area, whether they need more Panadol or cough syrup, or whether they need medicine for heart disease, blood pressure. Maybe in that area, the blood pressure of people is very high, so it means you need such medicine. In that area, there are more patients of asthma, tuberculosis, such, and then you need such medicine. So what we have to do, we have to do a research to find out what type of medicines are demanded in that particular area, and then on the basis of which you can open a medical store, and you will keep those medicine in your medical. Otherwise, if you are not doing research, you have opened that medical store and you are keeping medicines, and unfortunately such medicines are not demanded by the people of that locality, so it means you bound your money. You bought very expensive medicine and such expensive medicine are not demanded, so your business may go in loss. Okay, and they also help, the researcher, they help government for national development. You see, there are researches to help policymakers how to revise their policies for economic growth and development. And also there are research in banking sectors. No? We want to know, no? How to attract more savings, how to attract more people to deposit their saving in the bank. And then also, if you want to open a bank branch, again there should be a research, whether there is a need for a particular bank branch in that particular area or not. So they conduct research and they see the need for bank branch in that particular area. Maybe there are already many bank branches, and if you open your bank branch, then you might be in trouble. So after research, you can decide whether there should be a bank branch in that particular area or not. So we also help, to come up with some policy implications to help policymakers. We do our research, we conclude the research, and then we come up with some policy implications with that research. Suppose a research was done on external debt, then we see what are the factors that contribute to the accumulation of external debt. We identify those factors, and then we help policymakers that these are the factors that contribute to the accumulation of external debt, and we have to design our policies related to those variable or factors to control the growth of external debt. Okay. And to resolve the current research problem and set direction for further research. So whenever we do research, we not only resolve a current problem, but we also set some direction for further research. So you can see that in many research paper in the end, and also in thesis, they identify the direction for further research. So this means you did your research. Research is a never-ending process. No? You cannot say that research has stopped on this subject. So it's a never-ending process. So what we try to do, we try to get the answer for our research question on a particular topic, and then there are some limitations of our research, and we identify those limitations in our research study, and then we suggest some direction for further research. So those who want to do research in that area, we suggest that they have to do, they can carry out their research with these directions. For example, I did my research using cross-section data. Then I can suggest that the other researcher can conduct the same research using time series data if it is available. Sometimes, we pick a group of countries. For example, I pick the SAARC countries for particular studies. then I can say that the other researcher can pick developing countries. Then developed countries can also be included to increase our sample. And these are the characteristics of research. So for a research, the research question and objectives are clearly defined. Okay, so a researcher must be clear about the research question and research objectives, and then research process is systematic and detailed. Okay? So you know, research is the in-depth analysis of a particular case. No? You cannot do it in hurry. No? You are in hurry and you did, just like you sometimes you do your overnight production. It is not overnight production that you wrote your term paper. So whenever a researcher is doing research, so they spend their time to do a detailed and in-depth analysis in a systematic way, well organized, systematic, and they look to every aspect of that problem and then try to get the answer of their research question and fulfill their research objectives. So we also say that research design is thoroughly planned. So in research design, basically we explain our methodology, our variable, and their effect. So it is thoroughly planned. And good researchers and a good research, explain the limitations of the study. So they reveal their limitation and they justified it. So you see, if I don't get the data for a particular variable, then I will say I didn't use this variable because data was not available and it should be justified. No? And then they present the finding clearly and there is no ambiguity in your finding. So clarity is must. No? In research study, if it is clear, so then it will attract more audience, to see that research. And also the conclusion is properly justified. Okay, you did your research, you have your research question, research objective, you did your analysis, then you conclude the study on the basis of your analysis and it is justified. Then the implication of the study are presented. So we present the implication of the study on the basis of our finding, and that will help the policy makers. And the direction for further research are discussed. Okay, and the analysis is done correctly with proper support of facts and figure. And finally, high ethical standards are applied. So there will not be any scientific misconduct. There are, if in a research there are some scientific misconduct, that research is not acceptable. For example, if there is a plagiarism, just copy paste, so unethical, that would be considered as unethical. So high ethical standards are applied. So there will not be a plagiarism in your research. There will not be falsification. Okay, so you will not use wrong data. You will not, try to deliberately try to change the results. So researcher should be unbiased in their analysis. Whatever findings are through the analysis, you will report them without your own influence. Okay, so whatever reporting is that is correct and there is no falsification. Then we have research problem. This is the first step. Okay. For any research, just like I said in my last class, that you have to find out your research problem and then you have to uh, define your research topic, a title. What would be the title of your research? So research problem basically concern the construct or properties that are studied in research. So first of all, we have to decide in which area we will conduct our research. The first step is to identify the broad area for research study. So you have decided that because you are a student of economics and finance, so you decided that your research would be in the area of economics or finance. So then it's a very broad area. No? So broad area just like economics and finance and management and marketing. So you define. Someone may say he will conduct research in marketing area. Someone will say that he will conduct research on management area. So after defining the broad area, then the researcher needs to be, very specific within the broad area. If it is economics, then what is the specific topic on which you will carry out on your research? For example, I say my broad area is economics, and then I will conduct on external debt. My broad area is economics, and I will conduct research on foreign direct investment. My broad area is economics, and I will conduct research on inflation or unemployment. And your broad area is finance, and then you will conduct research on financial deepening, or you will conduct on domestic resource mobilization, or you will conduct on the saving behavior of individual. Then you can conduct a specific area of management, you can conduct a specific area of marketing. Okay, so this is the way to define your research problem, that first of all you think about your broad area, then within that broad area you have to define your specific topic or area. So these are the examples of research problem. Determinant and sustainability of external debt. Okay. This could be, this is in this case the broad area is economics. Okay, and then effect of policy uncertainty on exchange rate. This could also be a research problem. We want to know what is the effect of policy uncertainty on exchange rate. This could also be a research problem. Potential export market for a country. Okay. And then this could also be a research problem. Determinants of domestic private investment, or contribution of international trade to human development. This could also be a research problem. We want to know what are the contribution of international trade to human development. And then this could also be a research problem. Effect of financial sector reform on economic growth. We want to see what are the effects of financial sector reform on economic growth. Okay. We want to know the determinants of central government revenue. We want to see what are the determinants of central government revenue. And we also want to see impact of alternative factors on usage of telco-led branchless banking services. Okay. So these are different research problems. And on these research problem, I, with my student, MPhil student and PhD student, we did research. Okay, and research paper were produced. So if you go to my website, you will find the references of the research paper on these research problem, and then you can read those research paper to understand uh, the research problem and how we carry out that research, and then what was our conclusion, what were our policy implication, what were the direction for further research. So you can just look at the research paper related to the research problem. So there are many sources from which one may be able to identify the research problem. The question is uh, what we have to refer to identify the research problem. So if you read the research articles related to the subject of your interest, then you will be able to identify the research problem. You see, there are research journals, and in research journal they publish research article. So if you look at those research article, normally what we do, we start from recent issue of the journal, and then we will go back. Current issue, look at the current issue of that journal. You will see on which topic more research is done, or what are the issues that are highlighted in those research paper. So you will be able to find out your research problem. Also, if I want to know or if I want to make my own research problem, I can look at the direction for research part of the research paper, or reports, or thesis, because in the direction for further research, they say how to carry out this research in different directions. So this will also help to formulate your research problem. And sometime, we consult with our senior fellows and the researcher and administrator and business executives to formulate our research problem. Okay, you see, you ask your teacher, okay, give me some tips for research problem, or what are the issues on which research can be done. So your teachers can help your senior fellows because they did research. You cannot do research on all topics. So maybe when they were trying to formulate their research problem, they come up with some other topics also, but because they have to pick only one, so they can tell you, okay, I selected this research problem. You can look at those other research problem. So they will guide you, senior fellows and business executive. If you talk to them, they will tell you these are the issues, and we want there should be some research on those issues. Also brainstorming, that is the investigated discussion with a group of interested person. You see, when I said, okay, give me your title, you discuss with your friends, okay, so and then you went to look at the website to see different research papers, and then you went on Google, you search some topics, and then you will come up with your research problem. Okay, and also personal experience or direct observation. So there are some senior researchers, just like if I want to conduct a research study, so I will use my personal experience, and we sometimes observe, oh, this is the problem and I have to do research on that particular area. Or we also read research article. Media also highlight, these days media focus too much on COVID. That's why that produce lot of research papers on COVID. Okay, too much research on coronavirus and from different aspects, looking to their, there are some research on, the COVID from the medical aspect, the economic impact, the social impact, psychological impact. So different researches were done, and still people are doing their research to see the impact of COVID on economy, on people, on businesses, many other aspects. Okay. Then I will stop here, and inshallah tomorrow we will discuss the classification of research. Okay, let me stop recording.